is the Sterling vs. Podcast, here to inform and entertain the Sonic fan in you. Welcome and enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone. This is Silver Rhymes, and I'm with my co-host.
Hello, Lance.
And this is the Sterling vs. Podcast. So, Lance, how's your week been?
Been pretty spiffy.
Did you enjoy Valentine's Day?
Yeah, you know it. What about you?
I had fun, hang out with some friends, if you know what I mean. In any case, let's start off with some Sonic news. Let's see, first, I got, not email, but, message from someone after last week's show, and they pointed out that we missed a couple of, couples, and I laughed at them because I had completely forgot about them. If we could touch lightly on them for their sake, that'd be quite spiffy. They told me, hey, you guys forgot about these three couples, and they listed Knuckles and Shade.
I've never heard of Knuckles and Shade.
I have, right after, of course, right after Chronicles, it said, oh, she's like another female kid. No, let's just slap her together with Knuckles. And I thought, seriously, right on the bandwagon with the rest of them. But that's also kind of, it's out there. But on to the next one, Vanilla and Vector.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I guess just because of either the Sonic X series or because they're both the oldest. That would be pretty funny to see. And last, Jet and Wave. That kind of weirded me out because I could have sworn they were brother and sister.
I think they are.
Pretty sure they are too. So I was like, what? But yeah, those are a couple weird couples that was missed last week. Whew, pretty awkward. But yes, main news. This week, there was Sonic 4 Episode 1 gameplay leak, which spread like wildfire. Basically, it's around 40 seconds, and it shows first level being played, and most people really were shocked by it. The physics are something to be all weirded out about. First of all, things like the jump seems like there's gravity just is cut when you jump. The levels themselves look pretty the level, they only showed one level, it looked really good. It looked like how we expected it to look. 3D, beautiful rendering of 2D old school stuff. The guy playing it was criticized for being a very bad player, and many speculated since it was an alpha to avoid doing some things that may do this, and that. And at one specific point, it can be seen Sonic's max speed running animation for half a second. A lot of things you can see in this video, and even though it's an alpha, it's been heavily criticized that Sega has officially, broken the franchise. There's no salvation, and it's broken out into even more arguing. It's just pretty much ludicrous. Lance, based on what you've heard, what are some little speculation of your own?
Well, first, I'd like to point out that I haven't actually seen the alpha gameplay footage. I haven't actually seen it. I have, however, heard about it.
Yes.
And from what I hear,
yes, it's
still too early to say. We can't really say for sure if it's broken or what.
It was also by very particular commenters, or it looks like it plays like Sonic Advance 2, with its weird physics and stuff. And I just kind of took that with a grain of salt because this is still alpha. But what also happened later in the week, something that really blew us away, was a community member, fan game maker, and good friends with one of the lead heads at Sonic Stadium, posted that he had played the game. He was able to receive a demo, or no, it was actually the full version on his let's see, what do they call it? It's what they call special Xbox. I was talking to Lance earlier about it, and first, before we get to what the guy said, let's have Lance maybe enlighten us on how this isn't such a magical Xbox that can just get this sort of a thing. That's very, because people are saying, oh, this guy's lying. He couldn't have possibly gotten his hands on the game. It's ridiculous, and that it's very plausible that he can get this game. It's really no problem. So before I talk about what the guy said, I want Lance to maybe enlighten some of the viewers on how it's not so far-fetched.
Okay, well, here's the dealio with this one. Sonic 4 is still in development stages. It's still being developed for the three major consoles right now: the PS3, the 360, and the Wii. Where to start on this? Everybody says that it's impossible, not just for him to have the game, but for him to be able to play it in its development stages on his Xbox. While I do agree that it's not very plausible for him to have the game, for Sega to just be giving out copies of their game. And I'll explain that in a little bit. It is very possible and even plausible, probable, even if he's a game maker, it's probable that he can indeed play it if he did have it while it's still in development. Here's why. Microsoft, contrary to Nintendo and Sony, Microsoft actually endorses homebrew. They want the people playing their Xbox 360 to go out and make games. And they endorse it to the point where they actually have, I believe, on the Xbox website, a program that you can download. Pricey though it may be, last time I checked, it was very close to $100 for this download. Or the download was fairly cheap. The membership necessary to develop games was expensive because you have to be a member of some sort of website or something, some kind of club.
And then your console becomes the developer's console, as they call it.
Your console becomes the developer's console, more or less. I'm not sure exactly how that works. I'm not sure if the consoles have the ability to play the game, currently developing games all along, or if they give you a new one, because while personally I would love to get my hands on that program, I'm poor. I live down south. I don't have the money. So it's going to be a while before I can tell you for sure how it works. But you have to be able to play your own games. So I'm sure, I'm positive. In fact, I know this to be true because I've asked several people who have the program. Yes, the Xbox is capable of playing games that are not finished. Games that don't have a proper header, or games that don't have a proper checksum, for those who are tech savvy. So it is, especially if he is established as game developer or designer, especially if that's his case, then I would expect him to be able to play those kind of games on his Xbox, because I would expect him to have something like this kind of a program. Now, as far as actually having Sonic 4, I'm calling shenanigans. First of all, Sega isn't as big as it was in its glory days. Sega is still one of the biggest leading video game companies in the world. Seconded probably still only to Nintendo. I mean, depending on which way you look at it. Of course, Nintendo's still the gold standard for, sales and whatnot, quality, that kind of stuff. But Sega is still very close behind as far as the games they sell, and as far as the money they make, as far as their actual power. There is no way, nor is there any reason that they would simply give their games out in development, especially in an alpha state, for people to test it. They have testers within their own company, and if there aren't enough testers, they can take it home to their families or something. Have their families test it. There's no reason, there's no way that Sega would ever, especially for free, just hand out an alpha to a regular person. And regardless of if this guy has, developed games or not, chances are, if he's just using this program that I'm talking about, that I've talked about, which for the life of me I can't remember what it's called, so you'll have to forgive me. But if he's using this program, he's still a normal guy. He's not affiliated with any corporation. I would say to the most part, he would be affiliated to Microsoft in that he is a member of their developing. You have to pay to be a member, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's just as much of a member as I would if I was willing to fork over $100 for the membership.
What if he was
normal, regular guy?
What if he was invited to, as he puts it, to play test it?
Why would he be?
That?
Why not invite you or me?
Who knows?
Sega could invite. Yeah, I mean, they could invite yourself or myself. The point is, they don't have a reason, and especially in alpha. I mean, alphas are the holy grails of gamers who are interested in seeing the games develop. Anybody who's interested in the Ocarina of Time scene knows this. I'm going to stray off Sonic for a moment to give a really good example. Ocarina of Time is the most sought-after beta and alpha probably in the world. There's so much in there that is just left over from the beta stages. And to have an alpha of Ocarina of Time, people would kill for that. Hardcore Zelda gamers. And for a long time, I kept up with the development and not development as official development, but like reverse engineering, finding the alpha content, that kind of stuff. I kept up with that until the hacking headquarters for Zelda 64 went down. Just recently. But I mean, I just want to paint the picture that alphas are sought after commodities. No company wants their alpha to just fall out into regular hands where, this guy would have no obligation to Sega, very little obligation to, very little, if any, obligation to Microsoft. And the consequences are severe if he were going to leak this up. All right?
Mm-hmm.
He would get his Xbox, he would get his Xbox Live membership probably, revoked, definitely. His IP address would be revoked from Xbox Live, so he could, that's a permaban, from Xbox Live. Can't reverse that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's possible, but if it is possible, Sega will find a way to keep him from downloading their game if and when it is finished.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's kind of far-fetched. I've never heard of anything like that. I don't know if they've got the capabilities, but hypothetically, if they did, they would do that. I mean, we're talking about high risks that I don't think anybody who really cares about the series, who really wants to play the game, if they really want to pirate it, I don't care. I don't think anybody would want to go that far to release an alpha. Because like I said, everybody wants them, so the companies are guarding them heavily. There's no way Sega would have given the alpha to a game like Sonic 4, all right? Let me repeat that. It's just embedded in your mind. Sonic 4 to some regular guy and risk him leaking it. Mm-hmm. They're too precious. Yeah, to wrap it all up, definitely, I'm sure he could play the game if he had it. Definitely, there's no way he has it. That Sega actually gave it. Just let him have an alpha. Mm-hmm. Not even a beta, but definitely not an alpha.
Seeing as you put him into question, I'd like to maybe elaborate on how he described the game. See if you can maybe be swayed by his, descriptions. Because they're very, very, how to put this, convincing.
Descriptive.
Very descriptive. And I'm on your side. Like, he can't, I don't think he could get it, really, but the way he just puts this,
then there's also...
Yes?
Well, there's also the fact, the only possibility, right, that he could possibly have, and I am even going to call shenanigans on this, but, if you're listening to this cast, then you must be a Sonic fan. You must at least know something about Sega. Sega's in dire straits. Sega is, I would believe if it wouldn't be a shock if they just came out and said that they were really desperate, after almost 10 years of having the Sonic series criticized, heavily. It's definitely a believable statement to say that they are desperate. And the only way I can see them giving this alpha to this guy if they were that desperate. And I don't even think Sega's that desperate. I mean, that's the only argument that I could see even making a semblance of sense.
Well, I'm going to explain what this playtester thought about the game. Whose name, by the way, is Andre. He's from Brazil. So English is not his first language, so this may sound a little bit weird, but I'm going to go through it as best as I can. By the way, this was posted on the 19th, and I'd like to credit Sonic Stadium for putting it up. Alright, here it goes. Early in the morning, I and a few other unlucky people had the opportunity to playtest the Xbox 360 version of the game. In fact, any of you could do so as well, provided you own a developer's console or a JTAG system. I'll try to give a very briefly analysis of what were my thoughts about the game. Graphically and artistically, I must say, the game is very beautiful, even though I can't really eat that cell shading effect they put on Sonic's model to make it look like a different shaded Genesis sprite. Something important to notice is that the 3D models are not really 3D models. Instead, they are sprites of pre-rendered 3D models. So, we are pretty much dealing with a 2D game here. That goes for everything else but Sonic, since I'm not sure as if Sonic is really a sprite itself. But I pretty much think it is. That might explain the awkward animations. The level design, I played through Splash Hill Zone entirely up to Casino Street Zone. Splash Hill Zone is pretty much Neo Leaf Zone. For those who don't know, Sonic Advances 2's first stage. Everything about it looked like Leaf Forest, but even the level art itself reminds me of Leaf Forest in some way or another. The level design pretty much encourages the player to keep going to the right, except when the level abruptly decides to force you to go down into the opposite direction by inserting unexpected walls, making you jump to the left, jump to the right, keep running to the right. It is especially strange considering the level layout encourages you to keep running right. The acts that are actually considerably huge in size but quite short in time, much like Sonic Advance 2 stages. I don't remember any level specific gimmick on first stage, which is quite unfortunate. You gotta love Casino Street Zone since it's freaking Casino Night Zone. It's exactly identical. The colors, the tiles, everything. The level layout, however, is much like Music Plant Zone from Sonic Advance 2. A level that right encourages speed. About the special stages, they are quite fun actually. It is Sonic 1's distorted dimension, but with a whole new twist. Instead of controlling Sonic, you control the stage itself. So yeah, my oversight was right after all. In terms of difficult, I found it harder than Sonic 1's special stages, and provided they were rather easy. I believe that they're going to be even harder with the motion controls of the Wiimote 6-axis DualShock 3, since you have to rotate the stage using the trigger buttons on the Xbox 360 version. RT rotates to the right, LT to the left, etc. Looks like a pinball sword. Oh, don't let me get started on the boss fight. You might already imagine how it is by now. The gameplay is pretty solid actually, which is a great thing. However, the game pretty much have the physics of Sonic Rush. I can't stress enough how I hate the jump. Effing jump. It's the worst jump I've ever seen in a Sonic game to date. Apparently, they tried to mimic the longer you hold down the jump button, the longer you ascend mechanic of the classic games. But as a result, they effed up the friggin' cake with it. The jump is all over the place. If you rapidly tap the jump button, Sonic almost doesn't jump. If you hold the little one release, Sonic starts ascending, but he breaks to the floor as soon as you release the jump button. If you hold the jump button all the way down, Sonic jumps like if he had touched a spring. He jumps so high and almost no gravity, it's like you were jumping on the freaking moon. And I thought the jumping in the Rush series was bad. This one is even worse. The jump is so bad that I prefer to keep running right to win, really. Don't let me get started on the spin dash. The spin dash just don't have enough power, no matter what. Behaves much like Knuckles' chaotic spin dash. Running rewards you with much more speed than spin dash. My final remark of the game? It's friggin' Sonic Advance 2. It's written Sonic Advance 2 all over the place. It is Sonic Advance 2 all over again. In fact, they could have named the game Sonic High Speed and I wouldn't mind at all. But it's supposed to be Sonic F***ing 4. To be honest, the name Sonic High Speed would fit this game better. I'm afraid to say that we are actually dealing with a very final product here, folks, since the developers already sent the software to the Microsoft evaluation process. Additionally, the game software was sent to ESBR, Game Content Analysis Team. Considering the game has already been analyzed and rated by ESBR, The development team cannot undergo any significant change in the game, visually or otherwise, which therefore pretty much means that this is what the game will look like. I'm in a hurry here, and I'm sorry not to give a better insight on the game, but I'll make sure to edit this post or whatever, whenever I have the time. And Brad recaps that pretty much the Sonic 4 looks pretty, plays like Sonic Advance 2 or Sonic Rush, and/or special stages are Sonic 1's twist, rotating the special stage instead of controlling Sonic. Spin Dash, still Jim. Casino Street Zone looks like Casino Night Zone. And that's it in a nutshell. Lance, if you were paying attention, what can you tell us?
I was paying attention. Okay. As I said, no way he actually has it. If Microsoft has it now, then they wouldn't give it to him. I mean, who is this guy? We don't know anything about him. I continue to call shenanigans until he shows me, until he can prove that he is, someone who would rightly have the game.
He did make Sonic Attitude, which is, let's see, it is pretty much a game for the DS. It's a Sonic game in which, actually not much easy to even finish it, I don't think. It's Sonic Rush, but, made from scratch. But he hasn't worked on it in a while. At least that's, what this says, what I'm looking at right now. He has some credit, just letting him.
If it was, by some strange chance, a finished product, as he says it is, okay, which I don't think it is, then, yeah, we're screwed. But I don't think it is. It's not a very big chance that it is at all. It's a very small chance. Here's why. Because Sega just announced. That's why.
That's it?
They would have announced it much sooner. I'll come up with another reason later. That's reason enough for me.
But
okay. I'm not going to say that it's still an alpha, but it is at least a beta.
So
no way that it's finished.
On the off chance that he might be selling fruit,
I'll eat my hat.
You eat your hat? Would your hat look vaguely familiar to a hat of another, I don't know, a kitten?
It is. In fact, I went out, believe it or not, Silva, I went out and bought the hat for the Sonic OVA, Knuckles hat.
Oh, pretty cool.
Yeah, so I promise, if he is right, I will videotape myself eating my hat.
Wow. Well, big words. But he explains that he'll show us more. He'll send us a screenshot, video, whatever, but he'll elaborate more. Well, very same day, we have another news article basically explaining that he can't. Basically, he can't. Yes. And here's why. He received a private message from Ruby Eclipse, who, if most of you know, heads the Sega of America blog. And he PM'd Andre. Well, let me read it to you so you can get the whole shebang. It's not too long, so I won't waste your time. First, nice to meet you. I'm Ruby Eclipse, and a longtime fan of Sega/Sonic. Just like most of you guys, except that I ended up moving halfway across the country to work at the company and be involved with all the games that I love. I wanted to get in touch with you regarding the review you posted and the claim that you might post data or have live for others to see or play. Please hear me out here, as this is really important to both yourself and for Sega as a company. Knowing that you created your own fan games from scratch, as a fellow developer, please understand that hundreds of people have put countless hours into making Sonic the Hedgehog 4, and we have even more work ahead of us. Putting this game live now, especially in its current state, would be a huge injustice to the hard work and the long nights so many of us have already spent on this. There are people here who pour their souls into what they do, and there's no doubt in my mind that as someone who develops their own games, you've been there too. Losing something we've worked so hard on would be a massive blow to all of us. Those who develop the game, those who plan the game, those who continue to work, whether in marketing or PD or community, everyone. It would have huge consequences for us. And I know it wouldn't end on a good note for anyone. As a fellow fan and as an employee, I'd like to request that you please reconsider putting any data, images, or footage live do actually have code from the game. From every standpoint, and especially as someone who knows the kind of work our team puts in, I ask that you do not betray the months and months of work we put in to get in this game where it is. Please feel free to get back in touch with me anytime. I'll be on most of the night, and we'll be happy to talk. Sounds legit, but
I don't know. He could have just as easily forged that letter.
Yep, easily forged.
He could have forged that PM.
It's pretty good English. I'll give him that. In fact, it's impeccable English. So
maybe he lied about not being able to speak English.
I mean, who knows? Maybe he has cohorts, who helped them out, concoct this whole thing. But thinking if he did have the game, the Ruby Eclipse and everyone there obviously don't know about it. So it kind of makes it even harder to believe that he even had the game in the first place. Obviously, he's getting contacted if this was real. So if this PM was real, it would kind of can't mess up the whole I got the game. Then get what I'm saying here? It doesn't make sense. Somewhat. If they're allowing the game to be released, why wouldn't they know it? If you're invited to something, they would know that they invited you. So it kind of just makes the whole thing even harder to believe. Really, for me at least. What do you?
You know what? You said you hit my thoughts on a nutshell. That's exactly what I think.
Okay. And everyone's saying it. This guy's. I mean, as great work as he made before, he's just lying to us because we know Brad would invite us. They wouldn't. He wouldn't. Be the one to work with him and make this whole thing fake. I mean, really? Or if you want to be a really crazy theorist, say that Sega set up the whole thing. Who knows? Right now, we know what we don't know, but we can be pretty sure of ourselves to say that this guy simply does not have the game. It's just ridiculous that just ran. He would have the game. There's plenty of people who play this game, as you said. Even those who are hardcore Sonic fans. So I don't know, as you said, why this random guy would have the game. It's just crazy. It's madness. Madness is what it is. Madness.
Never mind. That reference has been done to death.
Yes. I can bring myself to do it. So let's move on to some else Sonic related. All Stars. A lot of info released, and since it's it's going to be released next Tuesday. I've heard some people here have reserved it, and I know I'm getting it for the PS.
I'm getting it, sure.
Yeah. I mean, I saw even more gameplay of it, like just some random guy playing it, and it looks sweet. Honestly, it looks really good. I saw it both on the 360 and the PS3, and it's not only beautiful, but it looks like it plays really well. Like, no fool. So, who are you gonna play as? Who you think you'll play as most, Lance?
Okay. Well, I know most people are probably gonna want to get it for Sonic. Okay. I'm sure the numbers for Sonic are infinitely better than anybody else's numbers. Mm-hmm. Me, however, the only reason I'm even considering it, because there's so many Sonic everything else titles other than Sonic the Hedgehog. There's so many titles that are, Sonic and the Sega Superstar Tennis,
Mm-hmm.
So many of those, like, sports titles. The only reason, let me say this once more, the only reason that I'm even considering getting this game is Shenmue's own Ryo Hazuki. I am a huge fan of the Shenmue series. Though I'm extremely upset that they put their resources into putting Ryo Hazuki into a racing game as opposed to making Shenmue 3. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Sega, get off your fat, lazy behind.
Funny you should mention. Wow.
Moving right along, I am incredibly happy that my all-time favorite Sega character, next to Sonic, of course, is going to be in it. So you can definitely see me on the Xbox Live leaderboards, though I will probably be in the thousands.
Well, seeing that you're a big fan of Shenmue, how do we pronounce it?
Shenmue.
Shenmue. Yeah. I've never played the game, but you've told me a lot about it. I might consider playing it. Hear a lot of good out of it. The being for
Dreamcast. It's a 3-disc game for the Dreamcast. Just the first one. You're basically, going to give a really quick explanation what it is. It's basically Grand Theft Auto without any crime or rocket launchers. It's Grand Theft Auto with all of your weapons were simply martial arts techniques. And you can only fight people in fight sequences. And it has quick time events. Listen, it's really awesome. Don't just forget I said Grand Theft Auto. It's huge world. Everything's happening all at once. You talk to anybody. The voice acting is horrible. That's how you know the game is awesome. Is the voice acting is awful. Definitely would have definitely would have liked to have a Japanese option. But I mean, for a Dreamcast game, well, every Dreamcast game is awesome. Even the ones that weren't awesome, even the ones that were horrible, they were awesome. Evolution was awesome. I'm still a huge fan of Evolution. Nobody's even heard of that. Anyways, go look it up. If you want a dungeon crawler that's cool, Evolution will do it. But, Shenmue is probably the greatest Dreamcast game next to the 2 Sonic Adventure games. Worth the buy. Extremely rare, but if you can find it, it's worth putting down a few extra bucks.
And it's great that sorry, go on.
No, I think I know what you were saying. I was going to say the same thing. So, hey, we're cool. It's great that they're pulling Ryo back and putting him in a modern, new game for all the youngins to see.
And definitely fan service, letting those with, who can download content via Xbox and possibly PS3, allow him to drive around in his forklift as a normal car. So, what do you think about that? Awesome. The forklift and the motorcycle, those are the 2 vehicles you drive in the actual Shenmue game. But yes. Him being in the game, though, in general, is definitely, I think, deep down, it's a calling for Shenmue 3 to come. And I think that'd be awesome. I really think they are going to come out with it, and it's not going to be another... I don't know. The first example that comes to mind is Duke Nukem Forever. Never going to see that game. Just never.
Okay, here. Let me tell you the difference between Shenmue 3 and Duke Nukem Forever, okay? Mm-hmm. Shenmue 3 is more like Mega Man Legends 3 or Chrono Break, for anybody who's a Mega Man fan or a Chrono fan. Sega has come out and actually said, we are not making Shenmue 3. Duke Nukem Forever, they've been lying to us about it. They said they were making it, and then we found out that they were just pulling our leg, so to speak. Sega's already said that they are not planning on making a Shenmue 3. They also said that doesn't mean that they're definitely never going to. That just means now they have no plans to do it in the foreseeable future. What's wrong with this is, Chrono Trigger. If you're a Chrono fan, you played Chrono Trigger, beautiful game. Chrono Cross, in my opinion, an even more beautiful game. We've been waiting for Chrono Breaks. Square copyrighted the name Chrono Break, and then they just dropped it like a year later. We have no news. They said that they don't want to do it because they don't have the original team. Of course, there were 2 teams. One that made Chrono Trigger and one that made Chrono Break. 2 different teams We know that they can make a beautiful, Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross, we know that they can make a beautiful sequel without the original team, so there's no reason for that. Same with Mega Man Legends. But with Shenmue, they're not really specific on their reasons. I think their reasons were the same, that they weren't going to release a Yakuza sequel because the poor sales, not a lot of people bought it. And here's the funny thing. Like in 2003 or in 2004, way long ago, they announced a Shenmue Online. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Shenmue Online. Now remember, Shenmue and Shenmue 2 were Dreamcast games. They came out before the Dreamcast fell. The Shenmue 2 came out right before the Dreamcast fell because it wasn't released in America until the Xbox version was released. Okay, but regardless, you're getting a sense of the time period. It's a Dreamcast series. It was from the late '90s, early 2000. So in mid 2000, in the middle of the last decade, 2 or 3 years after the last game, right? After fans have been begging for more, instead of trailers for Shenmue 3, you can look it up online on YouTube. Trailers for Shenmue Online hit, and the graphics, the cutscenes are gorgeous. You won't understand a damn thing of what's going on if you haven't played the second Shenmue game. And if you haven't played the second, and you won't understand the second Shenmue game if you haven't played the first one. But just looking at the visuals, if you've seen any of the scenes from either of the games, looking at the visuals of this trailer and thinking that it's what's going to be like, even as a cutscene, even if it's not in game, even as a cutscene, that's beautiful. It's basically Shenmue in high definition, right? And like I said, you really won't understand anything unless you actually play the game or Wikipedia it. But it's
like I did just now.
They were making, what you just did just now. They were making this Shenmue Online, and they made this huge deal about it. At least in the Shenmue circle, the circle of Shenmue fans. Made this huge deal. If you were paying attention to the Shenmue fans, there was a huge explosion, though contained as it may have been, simply because the series is not very popular in America, and as well as the rest of the world. Not even in Japan, it wasn't all that popular. Definitely more than America, but for games that were not popular in America, it still wasn't extremely popular. But like the few Shenmue fans there are made a huge uproar, partly because they're so happy to see more Shenmue, and partly because they're so mad that it's not Shenmue 3, But it's basically an MMORPG, but Shenmue style. You don't play as Ryo, you play as your own character, and you have magic. There's a whole bunch of stuff that just doesn't fit into the universe. But we were happy nonetheless. And then we stopped hearing about it. I think I've seen a single piece of gameplay footage in 2007, maybe 2008. Around the time I started talking to Silva. Around the time that him and I started actually talking outside of the Sonic threads in Gaia. But
there is actually a Shenmue Online website. I just found it, and it says last update was 2004. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's really old news, and
that's good. Oh,
not only was it not Shenmue 3, but they didn't even do anything. It's just sitting there, being all decrepit and old, and it's stagnating, basically, And let me see, what was I going to say? I think I lost my train of thought, actually. No, I remember now. Thank you, Silva, for reminding me, like you did so beautifully.
No problem.
It was great. It was this huge thing, and then all of a sudden they just dropped it. And, it's almost like the same thing is happening now with Sega All-Star Racing. The Shenmue fans are so ecstatic. Myself, like I said, sure, I like Sonic, more than Shenmue, of course, but Shenmue stuff is so rare that to see Ryo Hazuki in this game at all, see him even brought up by Sega, is enough to get me to buy it when I wasn't even going to consider it before. It's enough to get me to be all ecstatic and want to pre-order it. And I wasn't even thinking about renting it before. You know, I wouldn't even with the Banjo-Kazooie thing going on, I wasn't thinking about even renting it. And so, you know, fans are ecstatic to see, you know, Ryo after all this time. And still yet even more disappointed still that it's not Shenmue 3. I mean, seriously, the fans of the series should get Shenmue 3. Fans of the Chrono series, it's about time we got a Chrono break, don't you think? Fans of the Mega Man series, it's about time we got Mega Man Legends 3. I'd like to see what the heck happens to him after the end of Mega Man Legends 2. Maybe we can start up a petition for those 3 series.
Maybe it'll turn out better than the petition for classic Sonic back in Sonic 4.
Oh,
that
you know,
hilarious.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
I would have signed that petition, but just because I happen to like classic Sonic and I feel sorry for, you know, I like classic Sonic, and honestly, I'd like to see him in Sonic 4. I think, you know, a small part of me believes it's his righteous place with Sonic with brown eyes and no buckles on his shoes.
No.
Chubby Sonic with noodle legs. A small part of me believes that it's his righteous place to be in the next Sonic game after Sonic 3.
No.
The larger part of me agrees with everybody else and says it's the same Sonic. They just retconned how he looks. The larger part of me understands that simply is not the case, and it never will be, and it rightfully so. A retcon is a retcon. You can't, when they give them green eyes and a buckle, you can't argue against it.
And height,
it's official.
And long legs, and long spikes, and
you know what?
It's classic Sonic is a memory. I just want him to stay that way. All right, I'd like to
remember him good. You're right. If Sonic 4 hadn't to suck royally, I would like for it to be the new Sonic that does it. I don't want to be like, oh, well, even classic Sonic would suck. There's no way, Sonic can be brought back now. All hope is lost.
I think if Sega considers putting classic Sonic, I don't want them to do it. I just don't want them to do it. I don't, because that's buckling down to the whiny fans. I mean, I get making a new retro style Sonic. I get that. I get going back to the basics, back to the roots, whatever. I get that.
Agree with it. I just get it. I agree with it.
But this, say all the graphics are updated, but not Sonic, just because it took place in the past, even though basically he's always looked that way. It's just ridiculous, I mean, we could argue that the way he looked in the past is just him younger, but in the series canon, he's just always looked that way. He's blue with whatever color eyes they give him now, because it's a modernization, and that's retcon, He doesn't change in that. He's always been that way. It's just the way back then we perceived him. He's evolved, his design's evolved, but he's the same Sonic. So, I don't care for a reskin, but I do care that they bother putting classic Sonic in it, because I've never seen that done in any other new game that tries to follow a retro style, like New Super Mario Bros. You don't play as blue shirt, red shirt, blue. I don't know what color Mario used to be as Jumpman. Whatever. We don't see him as that color Mario. We don't see in Twilight Princess you get to switch out your outfit for. Oh, that's a bad example. Mega Man. Man, help me out here. Save me before I ruin everything.
In Mega Man, Mega Man 9, you do get to play as the original Mega Man.
Okay, sue me. I'm not a Mega Man fan. I didn't know that. But that's Capcom, and they've done it right. They could do whatever the heck they want. This is Sega.
Oh, great example. No, you'll love this one. Street Fighter 4. I don't know if you know this, but in Street Fighter 4, they have the new look for all the characters, as opposed to the old look. And they haven't changed much, right? But Street Fighter 4, well, it plays just like a it plays a lot like Street Fighter 3, only with, 3D and 3D graphics. Sort of has to, it doesn't play 3D like the awful Street Fighter 3D did. It plays 2D. It's just got 3D graphics. It's very seamless. It's very nice. Blends perfectly with itself. But and the purpose was to go back and make a retro style Street Fighter game. And that was their purpose.
And that was basically that's a fighting game. That's even easier to do than an adventure game. We're coming down to redoing physics,
Right.
But slightly back to the Sonic, like, because what I've seen, and I'm not that happy about, I'm not too excited about how Sonic's been jumping, running, whatever. But it's really not that hard. I mean, I'm talking to you, Sega. It's just, Sonic Team specifically, it's not that hard. Just do it. Just simplify the crazy physics you seem to have added, and it doesn't matter what I've heard because no one's played it, but this alpha, it's rearing its ugly head again. It's just, I'm going crazy. Lance, what do you have to say?
Oh, well, it's about time we wrap this up. I think it was about time we wrapped this up, 20 minutes ago.
Okay, we could go.
I want to leave with some news. Some news that I happen to know.
You know news, Lance?
I know news, and it's news about a certain figure, kind of like Metal Sonic, but not modeled after Sonic. Think you know where I'm going with this? It's not metal either. In fact, it's quite possibly, no, quite definitely, the single worst thing that can ever be imagined in the mind of a Sonic fan. The one reason that I'm kind of reconsidering not, kind of thinking that I might not get Sega Superstars Racing.
Oh, you're right. There is a piece of news, and I think I recall it just now. Folks, we had a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit more than what we thought in All-Stars Racing.
Let me do this one.
Lance, you take it away. You take it away.
I want to be the one to seal our fate into the darkest dimensions. Basically, Sega. It was Sega who confirmed it, not anybody else. It was Sega, right? Right?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sega confirmed that 2 songs are going to be included in the Sega Superstars Racing game.
Oh, that's nice.
These songs will be the wonderful, awesome Supersonic Racing song from Sonic R.
Oh.
The other song, quite appropriately,
people cover your ears.
It's also from Sonic R. It's also from Sonic R. And it is Can You Feel the Sunshine?
Oh.
Now, unless you happen to like, having your soul devoured into complete nothingness, or happen to own Shadow the Hedgehog, you should probably cover your ears. Okay? The confirmations didn't end with those 2 songs. Sega also confirmed. I can just feel the tension from those listening to us right now. Sega also confirmed that one very special, very scary little guy is going to be in the game. Tails Doll has been confirmed to be in Sega Superstar Racing. I don't know about everybody else. I can hear the uproar now. I think the shadows have come around me, the shades of black and orange. I don't know why there's shades of orange in my house, but it's so creepy now. I feel like my entire life has flashed before me, and it's standing right in the corner, looking at me with its eyes and that little crystal thing on its head. Oh, it's so scary. Yeah, it's closer. It's getting closer now. Oh, no. No, don't eat me. Don't eat me. That's pretty much what my reaction's going to be when I unlock Tails Doll in Sonic Superstar Racing. No, Sega Superstar Racing, my bad.
Sega Superstars.
So, yeah, it's gonna be pretty. I don't know. I mean, honestly, pop culture aside, I kind of like Tails doll. I think he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a pretty cool guy. He eats souls and doesn't afraid of anything.
Oh, I thought we were gonna stay away from the memes. Oh well.
Okay, moving on along, far away from the subject of Tails doll. Tails doll is more worn out than Chuck Norris jokes, but at the same time, you can't help but be afraid of it. You just can't help it. I had trouble playing through E102 Gamma stages. I had trouble starting his levels because every other enemy in the first stage was Tails doll. Couldn't shoot it. I knew something weird would happen to me if I did. Like, my nose and my middle finger would, switch places or something. I knew something bizarre as hell would happen. Luckily, not that much happened to me. I just gained 100 pounds. It's okay. I'm working it off. Everything's still fine. Just, be wary of Sonic Adventure Gamma's levels. Anyways, moving along.
Before we tear each other apart, most literally, in fact, let's any final words?
Final words? I gotta go that I can watch Afro Samurai.
Find us on Facebook. Search Starting Versus Podcast or follow the link. Tell more people about us. Hopefully not to just heckle us, because we're very heckleable. Tell all your Sonic fan friends. Tell them, yo, there's a podcast called Starting Versus at Starting Versus Podcast. .facebook or whatever. Hope to catch you guys next week. Thanks for joining us, and hope you enjoyed.